and welcome to Dax Chats. In this episode, I'm speaking to a man who's traveled around quite a bit. He was born in Arkansas, raised in Missouri. He now spends his time in Nashville. He is a singer-songwriter extraordinaire. He's just brought out a brand new album. We've got a couple of songs playing on the Country Thunder Network. We've got a song called Southern Child playing on the Country Thunder Network, and a new track, Brittany's Blue Eyes, was the latest single that his fans have opted to ask for to be played on our radio station. We don't know very much about this man, but we are going to speak to him today. His name is Dustin Lee Martin, and today, Dax Chats to Dustin Lee Martin. And here he is. G'day, buddy.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing good today and tonight or whenever it is when you're watching.
It's morning time here, evening time where you are. So, yes.
So a little bit of both then, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. So tell me your story. As I just said, we don't know a great deal about you. You just popped up. Somebody submitted your music to us and absolutely loved it. Chucked Southern Child up onto the Country Thunder Network the moment I heard it. Your fans have responded since then, blowing you up into the charts, North American charts and the international charts. So tell us your journey and how the story began, how it all happened.
All right, man. So it's kind of funny. I was about 4 years old. I used to sing a lot, just as a kid. All of us did, but we had this big trail ride. There's a lot of horse people out there where I come from, and in Eminence, Missouri, there's a trail ride that goes on, and there's about 4,000 or 5,000 people that went that year. And I remember my dad put me up on the stage and asking the house band if I could sing Brooks and Dunn's Boot Scootin' Boogie with them. And of course they said, this kid don't know the words, and he said, well, just let him try. Come on, let him try, So they got me up there, and sure enough, I remembered all the words and sang the song, and we had a good time, and I got done. And
do you remember the words now? But I mean, that's
I do. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Out in the country, past the city limit sign, there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joints start jumping every night when the sun goes down. They got whiskey, women, music and smoke. It's where all the cowboy folks go to boogie. All right.
Yeah, man.
And that was fun. That was
a great band. Yeah, you're pretty good picker yourself there, man. I dig it.
Not really a picker. I just play chords, but that's it.
Yeah. It's important, man. Somebody got to play that rhythm guitar,
Speaking about that, when I first got involved in music myself, because I'm a musician too. And when I first got into music myself, I was, a rock guy, I was like, 80s rock and all of that stuff. And then I was going to karaoke shows of all places. And I was getting up and I was singing these rock songs and big rock ballads and this and that.
Oh, yeah. You're doing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I was doing all that type of stuff. And the compere of the show turned around to me and said, you should be singing country. You've got the voice for country. And I was like, I don't know any country music. I don't like country music. I went through this phase. Who likes country music? We got
hey, I understand. Yeah.
And the first song that he introduced me to was that track, Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, wow.
Boot Scootin' Boogie, and that
no kidding
was the first country song I ever sang.
Hey, man, that's great. Yeah, it's a great tune. It's a great introduction too for a rock and roller, because I mean that was kind of when the rock really crept in. I feel like in the 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s, I'd say. Yep. But yeah, that's a great track, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I like a lot of Brooks and Dunn. They were great for the many years that they were performing, and I hope they do come back together. I really do. I mean, they did this reboot where they had duets with a whole heap of different people like Luke Combs but I really do hope they sort of bring their essence back to country music. It was great.
It would be wonderful, man. I mean, a really energetic group too. You know, I mean, I really like Brooks and Dunn. It's one of my favorites. I tell you, somebody else I really liked that we used to sing lots of, Joe Diffie. Did you ever get into him very much?
Oh man, Joe Diffie.
Yeah.
Me up beside the
Oh yeah.
if I die.
I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to go tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Good stuff.
I sang that song all the time. You know, that was my, you know, introduction into country music was all of those 90s country stars. So, you know,
gotcha. Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn was the first thing I sang, but then I was, you know, Joe Diffie was Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox, Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
You know, all of those.
Pickup Man was one we all got into, you know.
Yeah, yep.
I sang that one time, and I think I won $50, either $25 or $50 at a talent show when I was a kid, singing that song one time. That's pretty cool.
I won a karaoke talent show singing a Brian White song.
Hey man, I like him. You don't hear people talk about him enough. I really dug him. Which one did you sing?
What was the song? Oh God, it's so long ago now. Let me see if I can find.
He had that one, Rebecca Lynn, I think was the name of it. Was one of these bigger ones.
Yeah, that was a good song, but that wasn't the one. Mine was
yeah.
You know, he had that song So Much for Pretending, but that wasn't the.
Yep, that's it. Yep, that was another big one for him.
That wasn't the one I was. Let me see. I'm checking why we're here. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, check it out, man.
Where is it? It was a great song. I'm just trying to think about the name of the song.
He's one that gets overlooked a little bit sometimes, you know, when people talk about all that great music, because there was so much of it.
I reckon he's really underrated. He was really good. And like he hasn't done anything since 2009. But
he had one called Someone Else's Star or something, I believe was another one that he put out as a single.
Let me see if I can find the actual song. Someone Else's Star. Yeah, I found that one. But no, it was it wasn't on that album. It mustn't have been on that album. I'm looking through Spotify.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Where is it? I can't find it. I really can't find it. It was a great.
Remember any of the words?
Love is the right place. Love.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great.
Which was on his third album in 1997.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So I dig all that stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up with, you know, once I got into country, I grew up on all that, you know, Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn, Garth Brooks, Joe Diffie, Brian White, even Billy Ray Cyrus. You know, I like some of Billy's stuff. I really do.
Yeah, man. Hey, he could get down, you know, Billy Ray can. There was a lot of good music come out of the 90s, and I feel like it did influence this record in a way. You know, we had some of the guys that played on the Travis Tritt stuff that joined me on this record on about 5 of the songs.
Another great guy.
Oh, man. Yeah, you can't really talk about 90s country without Travis Tritt. I mean, it just, you know, to me, he was
10 foot tall and bulletproof. That's
yeah, and still is, man. He's great. He's putting out new material now. Some friends of mine, or one of my friends anyway, was involved with writing a song for him. The Ghost Town Nation single that just came out. It's pretty cool.
I have to go and listen to that.
Yeah, I know there's quite a few writers that are trying to get ready to put out a record with him. I believe is what they're going to end up doing. He may do an EP now that with everything pulled back a little bit. I'm not real sure, but I think the intent was to do a record.
Last year he just did some stuff with Corey Marks from Canada. There was a song that and that song had people from like Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh wow.
It was huge. I mean, this is country rock, outlaw rock. This is really,
man, that's pretty heavy, huh?
And he also just did the duet with Dierks Bentley's Alter Ego in that Hot Country
Yeah,
Nights.
Hot Country Nights. Yeah, man, that's a cool little band. That's an interesting concept to come up with, man. I think it's cool, you know.
But that brings back that 90s, I love
Yeah,
that, because it just brings back
yeah,
that 90s vibe to country again. It's great.
it does, and I think there's some music that's doing that right now. You know, Ashley McBride's kind of got that kind of feel to what she does, and
Mm.
you know, even Luke Combs has a lot of that feeling what he's doing. You know, and it's great that he's so well received. You know, that makes me happy. You know.
I think every song that he's ever had has hit number one.
Oh man, yeah, I think he's broke a lot of records, man. I mean, no kidding. I don't think anybody knew how big that guy was going to be. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely,
something
absolutely.
else.
But let's get back to you, because we're just
Yeah.
rattling on about how wonderful country music is.
Well, that's right, man. But hey, that's the roots of it, you know, and that's kind of where my introduction to it came from was originally my grandpa, and I thought he was Johnny Cash up until I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, you know, old enough to know better. But he would go around singing these Cash songs, you know, and he only sang part of it, like, you know, my name is Sue, how do you do, you know? So,
old enough to know better. You just reminded me of another great artist, Wade Hayes.
oh yeah, Wade Hayes, wonderful. Oh yeah, he had some great songs, man. Is he the one that did Tulsa? Was it him?
Yeah, he did. He did by the time I get to Tulsa. Yes, that's right. But I actually did a cover song of a Wade Hayes song. I did a whole covers album called Undercovers.
Okay.
And I did On a Good Night.
That's a great one. Yeah, that's another really good tune he had. Yeah, I think he's great. And there's so much good music, you know, and that era I feel like was a great era to grow up in, you know, especially in country music. I mean, it was starting to turn into a more rock oriented approach, you know, where maybe it wasn't before. But I mean, there was already that going on in the 70s and 80s, you know. So to me, it was more of a return to basics kind of thing with what they called the Hat Axe, you know, and that was Clint Black and Alan Jackson and all that. But that, I think that influenced what I did a whole lot. And growing up with that, and then coming out to Nashville and seeing that that's not quite what people are doing, because everybody's trying to do the cutting edge thing, man. And what's the hottest thing. And that's great. You know, I'm not knocking it, but it's totally different than some farm kid thinking, hey man, you're going to go to Nashville and you're going to play your songs. They're going to put you on the radio, man. You know, and it's not quite that simple.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, there's great music that came out of that era. But that's probably what got me started playing was listening to him sing. My grandfather, Joe Callahan, talk about him on the record a little bit. He's one that kind of helped me get started playing music. And that Harmony Monterey is the first song on the record, and that's actually what that tune is about. Is my dad told me if I'd learn 20 songs on somebody else's guitar, he'd help me buy one. You know, and which is reasonable. You know, he will make sure I was serious about it. You know, if we spent some money, maybe we didn't have. You know, and so anyway, I did. I talked to my granddad, and he goes to these estate sales, you know, all across the country there, and buys just whatever he can find. It's on a bargain or whatever, and resells it. You know, makes a little bit of money that way. Well, he come across this old Harmony guitars, 1970, I believe is what it was, and so that's what I learned to play on. The strings was about this far off the fretboard. And so I didn't really understand. I didn't understand how you played bar chords, man. To be honest with you, I just couldn't understand how that was even possible. You know, how do you mash down that hard? You know, you know, yeah. And so what I finally did learn them tunes and get a guitar. You know, the first time I put my fingers on that E chord, oh man. So that's what it's supposed to feel like when you play this thing. I can get behind this, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was kind of what really got me wanting to play guitar, you know, and that kind of thing. But yeah, oh man. So I guess so I was in this tornado that came through in Nashville, and I guess it'd be a decent segue to tell you about that. That's been a crazy ordeal. So that guitar was hanging on the wall in the room when it came through, and man, that was a crazy night. So I was in the house, man, and ended up hearing the wind howling, and was able to get in the middle room in the house where there were no windows.
Yep.
And and the windows busted out and the ceiling fell in on me and the roof came off. And I made it through it. And there were some crazy things, like there was a mug hanging in the kitchen that said, I love Nashville. And it's just hanging there, you know, and just some wild stuff. You know, I hunt, and I had a deer mount I had mounted up on the wall. And he was still hanging in the corner, you know, so that was something. But no, I was able to win. And
was this the recent one?
Yes, it would have been in March of this year.
I remember that annihilated Nashville. It was huge.
It was a crazy deal. A lot of people lost a lot of things, and lost a few people as well. You know, it was a bad deal all over. But yeah, man. So I was able to go back in and get that guitar, and I've still got it. It's busted all to pieces, but I still got it. You know, and maybe one of these days we can get it repaired and get it back working. But that's what that tune was about. You know, was that guitar, and that's kind of what got me started playing.
Yeah.
So
that's a bit of an emotional journey, man. I mean, seriously, going through something like that, I just don't. I you know, for one, I can never understand why people build on this, you know, Hurricane Alley, what they call Hurricane Alley over there.
Yeah.
But then Nashville's not really in a Hurricane Alley. It never really gets damaged. But then this year, early this year, just before the pandemic broke loose in America, it was
about 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 2 weeks before. Yeah, absolutely shocking, and just ripped the place apart. And I think even the classic Nashville sign that everybody sees around the world, the sign's still there, but the building was gutted.
Yeah. The basement east, man, it took a pretty good knock. There was a whole lot of Germantown got hit pretty bad. We were over in Hermitage, almost to Mount Juliet, right there on the line. And there's a video at the Kroger across the street when it came through. I mean, you can watch as it was throwing cars around. I mean, it's just unreal, you know. I'm just thankful to be alive and that kind of thing. But that kind of spurred me on to releasing this record, because I had initially planned to put it out in late April, early May, you know, and kind of give it a chance to be out for the year and try to get it out to as many people as possible, you know, and that kind of thing. And, you know, that kind of knocked the release back a little bit, because we kind of had to regroup,
for sure.
You know, but thankful that we're able to get it out, put it out in September, and been able to play quite a bit, actually. We kind of got shut down, you know, in May and in June and all that, like everybody else. But we kind of back at it a little bit here and there, just doing small gatherings and what bars have open seating and this, you know, that kind of thing. But hopefully this next year we can really get back to touring and pushing all this stuff.
Yeah, 2021.
Got some T-shirts made, you know, so we're going to try to get them out to folks. And I don't think you see that, can you? It's probably backwards, but
there you go. Dustin Martin. There we go. Dustin Lee Martin.
State of Missouri on it, man. Just in case she's wondering where I was from. It's right there.
Right there.
Yeah, we're going to put Reeves on the map, man. That's what I always told. You know, it might be on a T-shirt, but it's on the map.
That's awesome. So tell me about the new track that your fans have requested. I mean, it wasn't even on our radio station. They first up threw up Southern Child, and I was like, that's just a top song. I love it. You know, it was like,
thank you.
And that went to number one on the North American charts and pretty quickly. I think it debuted at number one. I can't remember back there how.
I believe so. Yep.
And so like the very next week after that charted at number one, your fans went out and went, okay, we want to listen to we want to have a different song on the charts now. And they all turned around and went, bang, Britney's Blue Eyes. Talk to me about that track, because that has been fan orientated and fan pushed from the outset here.
Yeah, man. So that song I've had that one for a long time. It's been with me. It wasn't finished. I started it, I think I was 15 years old. So it's been a pretty good while. I've been toting that around with me now. But I finally felt like it was finished. And so we took it in the studio And we sat down with the guys. We had Steve Turner on the drums. And so Steve wanted to do it out. He's got this whole filling station studio out kind of toward Leapers Fork out in the country. So you ever heard that song Copperhead Road that Steve Earle put out?
Of course I have.
So Copperhead Road is down the road from his studio, man, like just down the way, so it's way out in the country. And so it was real cool, man. We set up in there and I played him the songs and he sat down and mapped out the drums on them. And we brought the rest of the guys in. We had Pat Buchanan and Patrick Gully and Mike Brignardello. Brought them in, tracked all that live, and then we did the vocal back on top of it. But that song, man, it was really cool because we were able to get Joe Spivey involved on fiddle. And man, Joe's just incredible. Really nice guy and just a pleasure to work with. And it's the first record where I've, really been able to work with these guys. They've done tons of sessions and that sort of thing, and it's been wonderful, man. And I really like that song. I think it's a cool tune, and there's been 3 or 4 of my fans. They know who they are. I ain't gonna call them out by name. Don't want to embarrass nobody, but they've really been pushing all this, and I appreciate them very much.
I tell you what,
they know who they are.
I tell you what they have. I mean, like I have never. I guess there's a couple of there are a couple of artists, but usually it's not as big as Dustin Lee Martin is. It's like it's just been absolutely huge. So the album is called Halos and Smoke
Rings.
Oh, sorry, Halos and Smoke Rings. I'm looking at
it
right now. Halos and Smoke Rings. I like that. The angel and the devil.
That's right, man. That's the idea for sure. Because there's always good and bad in every situation, man. I mean, and I feel like it's a really good way to live. You can focus on one or the other, depending on the way your mindset is. And I think Dr. John said it really good. Accentuate the positive, man.
Accentuate the positive. I love it. I can't say it with a Southern accent because I just don't have it.
I dig it when you say your Australian accent, man. It's cool. I like
it. Thank you. I would rather have the Southern accent. Actually, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'd love to go and live somewhere down in the deep south and develop.
I'll swap with you sometime. Come down here, we'll swap hats. You can be me, I'll be you.
All right, yeah. All right, cool. All right. I'll be less grey then. That's fantastic.
Well, hey man, come on with it. No, man. You welcome anytime you come down. We'll figure it out. We'll go find something to do.
Absolutely. We're gonna shoot some deer or something.
Hey man, come on. You want to get in the woods? We'll get in the woods. Oh yeah.
All right. So, what's next? I mean, I don't even think that Britney's Blue Eyes was actually a single release. I mean, so what's next for you? Are you going to drop a single from the album?
Well, yeah, I think Britney's Blue Eyes will actually be the one that comes out next. That had been requested by a couple of different people at one radio station in Jackson and then one up in Birchville, Kentucky. Yep. And so they had asked about that one. So we'll probably put that one out here pretty soon and get that one kicking around. And I'd really like to do some videos for some of these. We got some live videos that I'm in the editing process on. We almost got that finished. And so that'll be coming out from we played the county fair down in Columbia, Tennessee with a full band, had a real cool deal going on, pedal steel player and the whole nine.
Wow.
Drums and bass. And then we got a couple of projects in the works. Want to take Southern Child, Midnight Hurricane, and County Line Road off the album and do acoustic versions of them.
Okay.
With a lot of different instrumentation. Not really bluegrass, but just a broke down kind of version of those tunes. And, different vibe, and then add a couple of original tunes to that, put that out as an EP, hopefully get that out early next year. And then got a whole bunch of original stuff I've been kind of kicking around and playing. We do this live show on Tuesday nights usually, and just about every Tuesday night, missed one here and there, election and various things, but trying to start doing it every week again, and get back to it. And so playing the original songs during those live shows, see what people think, and then if we get enough reaction on some of them, we'll go ahead and get in there and try to kick them out, and get them to people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So 10 tracks on the album. Is it 10 tracks? I've got to make sure.
I've got 11
tracks on the album, sorry. Halos and Smoke Rings. It's an awesome album. Southern Child has been amazing. Britney's Blue Eyes has been absolutely amazing for the Country Thunder Network, because you're fans. Whatever's to come from you, we're looking forward to it. I'm seriously looking forward to it, man.
Well, Dax, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. Appreciate you having me on.
No worries. Well, you have a great evening, and thank you very much for taking the time to speak to Dax.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No worries.
Talk to you soon.
All right, that was Dustin Lee Martin. His latest album is called Halos and Smoke Rings, and the single off the album is Southern Child, and the new one that will be a single is, of course, Britney's Blue Eyes, which is now playing on the Country Thunder Network and has charted in the Country Thunder 20. You can go to your favorite streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, and you can find Dustin Lee Martin's album there, and you can play it there. What's more, you can go to the Country Thunder Network just there, countrythundernetwork.com, and you can request Britney's Blue Eyes and Southern Child straight from the player. What's more, you can vote for them in the Country Thunder 20. The voting form is at the top left of the player. This has been DJ Dax, and I'd like to thank our sponsors, Fab APC, for coming on board. Thank you very much for that. And as always, we are proudly presented by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. As I said, I'm DJ Dax. You've been watching Dax Chats, and until next time, bye for now. You got that love, yeah, you got that style, and you're making my heart race a little further than a country mile. You take me back, you light my fire, yeah, you're the only one that can ignite this desire. So settle up, baby.